Am I mentally insane? 2 videos in one day? I mean, have I got a stroke? I mean, I'm probably not far off, but what happened is that I did have a video planned for yesterday, even uploaded it twice, but YouTube screwed me over. So you're getting 2 videos today, I hope you like it. So today's video is about me predicting the first leg of the Championship playoffs semi-final, because the Championship doesn't give us a break at all. We're giving games straight away. We're giving the first game on the Sunday, Swansea and Brentford, and then we got the following game, Cardiff and Fulham, on the Monday. I'm really excited to give you my predictions for this weekend. I've actually not written down my predictions yet, but and we're going to go through a pretty deep analysis of both of these games. I'm also going to show you FIFA's prediction in the background, since I'm going to show FIFA's prediction also. A little bit of news has come around in the Championship. In terms of Huddersfield Town, they've appointed their new manager, Carlos Corberán, the assistant head manager of Leeds United. If there was any club that just had a certain level of ambition just flushed away down the toilet, that is Huddersfield Town. What on earth has happened to this club? I mean, he could turn out to be a great appointment, but is he the best in class? No, he's not. I mean, I don't know what you think, Huddersfield fans. Let me know if your reaction down in the comments. Maybe I'm being a bit pessimistic. Another bit of news, and honestly, I thought this was not true at all. Birmingham City have decided to recover their number 22 shirt in honour of Jude Bellingham. Really? I mean, yes, the story of Jude Bellingham may be inspiring. Youth players started the academy, turned 17, Borussia Dortmund. But 40 appearances, I mean, what? I mean, when I think of shirt returns, I think of Paolo Maldini, Johan Cruyff. Jude Bellingham in the same calibre? Not a chance, I'm sorry. No, I'm not a fan of that. Retiring a whole bloody shirt because of Jude Bellingham leaving? No, I'm not into that. But let me know what you think. I think it's a joke, to be honest. But moving on from that bizarre bit of news, if you guys like what you see and want to see more Championship content, please make sure you do give this video a like. It is tremendously appreciated. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel. We're 6 subscribers away as it stands to my goal of 200 subscribers. If we can get that as soon as we can, it would really make my day. But without any further ado, we've got 2 exciting games to go through. Let's predict what I think will happen in the playoff semi-final leg 1. So starting with the first game kicking off on Sunday, Swansea versus Brentford. Obviously 2 different teams, which I think with 2 different terms of mindsets right now. Swansea were completely written off to get into the top 6 entirely. They snuck in on the final day following an emphatic 4-1 away victory with Reading and following an epic collapse of Nottingham Forest, who looked like they had the playoffs secured, who've been there since the 2nd November. You know, I said in the video, I don't think anyone's had a bigger capitulation for Nottingham Forest, but it's nothing less for what Swansea City deserve. I thought they were absolutely brilliant in terms of their mentality, going forward, being so determined to get to that 6th place, and they did. And you know what? That sort of mentality and that drive is exactly what you need at this stage of the season to get past the playoffs. As for Brentford, they're going to be in a different mindset. They know that they were within 1 goal of getting into the Premier League, and you know what? The fact that West Brom drew with Queen's Park Rangers as well, the door was wide open for Brentford to capitalise, but they just couldn't beat a Barnsley side who were fighting for their lives in the relegation zone. But I think this game is going to be really, really different between the 2 sides. Obviously, these 2 sides have already played each other this season, but you can almost discount playoffs as separate from the Championship because there's a lot more stakes, you know, a bigger prize money difference as well. So it's almost going to feel like not necessarily a friendly game, but a competitive competition game. I mean, that's what the playoffs is typically, but these 2 sides have played each other already. The first time at the Liberty, which is of course what the first leg's going to be. Brentford won that game by 3-0. I remember it was an October game. It was a midweek game. I do remember it well. Side Ben Rama actually scored his first goal of the season against Swansea. It was an absolute stunner from the left-hand side. I think it was my goal of midweek in that particular week. It was absolutely terrific. Then I remember Jake Bidwell scoring a very unfortunate own goal, and of course he's a former Brentford player as well, so I think Brentford fans were really happy with him in that moment. And then Brian Mbeumo down the right-hand side of the second half just finished off the scoring. And overall, Brentford had a really emphatic win, and the reason why they won is that they played well on the counter-attack. And the thing is with Swansea, they're not going to be a team that's just going to sit down in banks of 4 and you're going to have to try and break them down. Swansea will come out to play. It's the way Steve Cooper likes to play. It's the way England under 17s play as well. So you're going to get a Swansea side that's constantly going to attack. Now, the difference about Swansea with Brentford this time, Brentford have played Swansea twice before the January transfer window, and I think the quality they added in Ryan Brewster and Conor Gallagher, I think has really added a new depth and a lot of attacking quality in that Swansea squad. So we've not seen Brentford really challenge in that particular area as of yet. Ryan Brewster, since coming in, I don't think anyone has scored more goals. I think it's only Said Benrahma actually who has scored more goals since Ryan Brewster has actually come in and scored. Ryan Brewster scored 10 goals, and he came in January, scoring a really good goal last weekend against Reading. And the thing is, going back to the game that they had in October, Swansea were really flat in this game, and Swansea had a lot to play for. They were still third place in the Championship. They still could have pushed for promotion. This defeat was like the beginning of Swansea just falling down the table. But eventually, Swansea did pick themselves up, as I said, and recovering a top 6 place. In that position is absolutely extraordinary for the club, and you can only praise the mentality that Steve Cooper has put into this side. I just thought about the other game in Griffin Park. Bit of a similar game. Brentford, with a very similar scoreline, beat Swansea by 3-1, and I remember Ollie Watkins scored a brace, one of them with a terrific cross by Rico Henry, who's been a really important player for Brentford throughout the season. And I know Swansea's only goal was a little bit of a mistake from David Raya, where he couldn't carry across and Ayew managed to poke it in. But despite the setback, Brentford rallied forward and they scored a scintillating counter-attack. They had so much pace going forward, and I think that's what's going to be their strength. I just do not see Swansea being a team that's just going to sit back and allow Brentford to press. It's going to be very even in terms of the possessions. I think the possession stats in the previous games was like 60-30 or something, so it wasn't too equal, but it's not like 80-20 where you see one team literally just sitting back in blocks of 4 and you get one team with all the ball trying to break you down. I think Swansea may be in a stronger position than Brentford. I think they're going to have a higher morale following that. They completely did not expect playoffs, but following great performances and results going their way, they actually got into the top 6, and if they could just carry that into their next 3 games, they could be in the Premier League. I could definitely see it. As with Brentford, they've got to pick themselves up from the heartbreak of missing out on promotion, but they definitely have the squad to go for it. You know, they've lost their last 2 games, but if they can recapture the form where they've won 9 games in a row before they lost their last 2 games, I think they'll do it. And Brentford have struggled against teams that do sit back. Stoke and Barnsley are both teams that do sit back a little bit. To predict the first leg, this is really tight. And with playoff games, you don't tend to see many goals. It's normally the second leg where I think you normally see a load of teams, you know, being really explosive going forward to try and get the game won. But as a prediction, I mean, it's really tight. But I think I'll edge Brentford. I think I'll go with a 2-1 away victory. I think it's going to be tighter following the quality that Swansea have added to the squad, especially in their attacking areas. But I think Brentford may take control in this one. You don't know what's going to happen with the playoffs. You know, we saw Derby complete an impossible turnaround last year under Frank Lampard against Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds United. You just don't know what you're going to get in the playoffs. FIFA thinks that this will end 1-0. Could really go either way. So the final playoff game is Cardiff versus Fulham. 2 very memorable games actually when they came round. I remember Cardiff and Fulham being a very early game in the season. I think it was still in August when they still played for the first time. Obviously, it would have still been with Neil Warnock as their manager of Cardiff. It was a 1-1 draw, and I knew Cardiff took the lead under Josh Murphy following a great through ball pass. I can't remember who supplied it to him, but Josh Murphy was practically one-on-one with Bettinelli. He scored it, and Mitrovic, being what he does, he literally tapped in from 2 yards following, I think it was about 10 passes in the build-up to Fulham's goal. It was an absolutely brilliant team goal. But the game was played following Harry Arter getting 2 yellow cards in 2 minutes, and I remember his second yellow where he reacted badly to a foul and he slammed the floor, jumping around following that decision and gone his way, and the second yellow warranted the reaction. It was a really bizarre red card, and it's just been one moment that's just stuck into my mind. Obviously, they've recently played against each other, this time at Craven Cottage, where Fulham won by 2-0. Mitrovic fouled by Sanderson, scoring his penalty, and then very late on, Onuma managed to score a goal, obviously for great play by Johansson. And I think this tie is going to be a bit closer than the one between Swansea and Brentford, because I could definitely see not many goals in this game. Cardiff, I think, are going to play like they normally do. They sit back a little bit, hit teams on the break, and completely soaking the pressure. And I've seen effective performances like that when they've played against Leeds United, soaking up pressure, hitting them on the break, you know, forcing mistakes on the field and just charging forward with the likes of Junior Holiday, Robert Glatzel and Josh Murphy. With that attacking trio, they are so dangerous, and they've got options all around the pitch that can do these sort of things as well. It'll be interesting for me to see if Lee Thomas is going to continue. I know he's still got his injury and he's really soldiering on. If he can continue this game, it'll be fantastic for Cardiff because he does dictate play a lot. For me, he's the spine of Cardiff City. You know, he can break up play very well, he can find a killer pass, and he can also score a cracker of two. As with I can't help to feel that they have been a bit too inconsistent. It's a squad that definitely plays like a promotion winning team, but they've not played at their best at a consistent basis. Fulham do have a good record in the playoffs. Last time they were in the playoffs, they were promoted to the Premier League, beating Aston Villa in the playoff final. Previously though, they did lose out against Reading, so they have experienced loss and victory in the playoffs. So some of the players in Fulham are probably going to have a load of experience. With Cardiff, this is actually going to be their first playoff campaign since losing out against Blackpool in the playoff final. I still remember that game to this day. It was an absolutely unbelievable game where I believe it was Charlie Adam who scored a stunning free kick or something. It was an absolutely unbelievable day, seeing a sea of orange. The thing is about Neil Harris, he's very experienced of getting teams to the playoffs. We've seen him do it a couple of times with Millwall and getting Millwall promoted from the playoffs. So tactically, I think he does know how to set up teams for playoff campaigns. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. Obviously, Scott Parker being played in playoffs, but this is the first time managing a team in the playoffs. So it's going to be a very interesting dynamic to see what we'll get from these two sides. Cardiff, as I said, I don't think they'll attack Fulham. I think they'll allow Fulham to soak the pressure. I think Cardiff, it's essential that they get a win at home, because maybe if they could just take a result to Craven Cottage, Fulham can be put under pressure. And a couple of times Fulham have been done at home a couple of times when they've been too expansive and been a bit too overcomplicated in terms of their play. Cardiff are a very different team to Fulham. You can only just see from the stats. I think the lowest passes in the league versus the most passes in the league. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup between these two sides. But as a prediction, this is really, really tight. I'm going to edge Cardiff for a 1-0 victory. I can see Cardiff gain the edge at home, but in the second leg, it may be a different result. The first legs for me are going to be very, very telling who I think will be the favourite to reach the playoff final and to be promoted from the playoffs. So this is going to be a really exciting couple of days coming up. FIFA thinks this will be a 1-1 draw. I can easily see that happening as well, mirroring the fixture that happened in August. But there you have it. These are my score predictions for the Championship Playoff semi-final first leg. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments down below. And what do you think will happen in the Championship Playoff semi-final leg one? Let me know in the comments down below. If you get a correct score prediction, your comment will be included. This is another way you can get points to Lexus Hall of Fame. This is what it currently looks like right now. It's really, really exciting, this playoff campaign. You know, playoffs don't tend to disappoint. Whilst you don't get many goals, you get a load of dramatic games, and that is what I'm hoping we'll see this year. We've already seen a dramatic last day in the Championship. Let's hope for the same in the playoffs. I think that wraps it up for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like what you see, please do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps. And please share this channel. It would really, really help my popularity. We want to get to 200 subscribers as soon as we can. If you could do that, that would be fantastic. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care, guys.